It's unnecessary. It's gone more and more with the days.
John and I work in a manufacturing facility, which we won't name, but I think they do try and cut down on the packaging. But some of the supermarkets demand this packaging. They say, "Well, we need it for our staff. We need it for this. We need it for that." So
it's for their control.
This is where People Power has come in Germany. There was a group of German protesters, and they literally went into a supermarket, took all the packaging off, took the goods. And apparently the law was such that the supermarket actually had to deal with the packaging. So I'm up for that.
Tell me,
anybody wants to help me?
You told the listeners that you're half Norwegian. If you're so upset with England, why don't you bugger off back to Norway?
But he means that in the nicest possible way.
I do.
Well, it's very nice to have that friendly invitation.
Which half, by the way?
The left half.
Yeah, go on, Zenith, you're going to say.
I don't think it's a very serious point. Can I come back to homelessness? Because I think that is a really, really serious point.
Yeah, go on, And
we need to, need to talk about
that.
Well, there are 85,000 households in this country that are classified as homeless. That's not individuals, that's households, right?
Right.
And this does tie into some earlier points we were making, because why are people homeless? Because the rents are too high.
Because they're spending money on an Olympics that we can't afford.
Well
that's part of the reason.
Let me say why I think
£10 billion.
Why I think it is. That could be one factor, the Olympics, but it's also because the housing market, is completely a free market. There are no rent controls, so rents can be, way past what most people can afford. The price of houses, there's a bubble in the housing market. The price of houses is way beyond.
Which will
even if you're on a decent wage these days. Even if you're on a decent wage these days,
you can't afford it.
You can't afford it. If you're a teacher or you're a nurse, you can't afford
to
buy a house.
Thousands
It's just
of houses
absolutely ridiculous.
Unoccupied.
It's 100,000 in London.
Absolutely.
What do you say to the people that say that a lot of the people that were in the Occupy tents were homeless people, and the argument is, well, hang on a second, they're getting unemployment benefit or whatever it is, but why surely they're getting housed as well, and they're refusing to be housed?
No.
There are. I know, because some of them spoke to me and said, look, if I go and live in a council house, mate, I've got all these bloody controls. I've got to do this, I've got to do that. So I don't want to do it.
You can't say that everybody who's homeless is there by choice.
No.
Absolutely
I
not.
said one or two. I did not say.
Exactly.
I mean, I've talked to many homeless people since I've come to London, it's about 12 years ago, and time again, what I get is the most horrendous reply, which is people, they're not getting housing benefit. Why? They haven't got an address. They're not getting social security, again, because they haven't got an address. But what they're saying is that they're just trying to get enough money to go to a hostel just that night, and I don't think a lot of people know this, but basically they're actually begging just for the £15 or whatever to have for that night. So basically they're forced into begging by the government, because these hostels obviously should be free.
Yeah, and a lot of them begging go straight to the pub and get bloody
homeless because they have drug problems, alcohol problems.
Complex problems, absolutely. Drug, alcohol,
yes, they do, and
child sexuality often.
We're not talking about whole families, though. I mean, obviously there might be some families that are whole families, but individuals.
Yeah, and there's a lot in London now that have come from Eastern Europe to beg, because we're more generous than the rest of Europe.
It's debatable whether we've got real poverty in this country when you compare it with poverty in rural India or places that you see on the TV, people making a living.
We don't want to go down to that level. We're going in the global economy. We're levelling it down so that everybody's going down to the lowest level.
But what do you do with people who've got extreme problems, alcoholism, drug problems?
Well, I think it's one sign of
they're going to be homeless.
One sign of a decent society is that you look after people who've got problems. You don't just dump them by the wayside.
Didn't that happen in the 80s though, when they had care in the community under Margaret Thatcher?
Yeah. Well, exactly.
They emptied the asylums or mental hospitals.
Care in the community.
They don't work.
And it was like thousands of people wandering around who actually were looked after before.
Exactly. We gave up looking after people properly. That's a sign of a civilised society. People who can't cope by themselves. We should be looking after those people.
But you've also got to look at, people like me. I've got an income, but I spend that income on, like Derek and Lucas, come and paint the house for me. People with money do a certain amount of circulation. It's whether we circulate the money properly. In other words, buying, for this country, buying British goods, getting British people to do jobs. You can create an awful lot from nothing if you've got some imagination.
And part of that links into what Peter was saying about 1 million climate jobs. There's a lot of jobs. If money to pay for people was spent doing really important jobs, not just the frippery that we have around, not just the superficial things, then
Workfare, for example, is is a daft scheme that the government's had to force young people to work and take away their benefits if they don't.
No, hold on. They cancelled that. They've not
reformed that, haven't they?
Yeah,
they do lose their benefits.
But I just want to pick up.
They don't.
I just want to pick up on something that Mike said earlier about Eastern Europeans coming here to beg. We're not saying that Eastern Europeans. It's only a small minority of people, the same as British people that do begging. So we're not. We need to be clear about that. You're only talking about.
No, we're talking about. I would say in London 5,000 at the most.
Yeah.
But you've got them, and they're bringing children into it. It's becoming a bit of a prostitution, if you can understand me. Big business. They go out, a woman, little baby, everybody dips in their pocket because they feel sorry. The next minute you see them riding around in Enfield in a bloody BMW.
Well, I remember 15, 20 years ago when I first started working in the West
Oh
End.
no, that's true.
When
Panorama did a programme and they showed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's, you shouldn't exaggerate, how widespread this is. I mean, there are lots of Eastern Europeans who came here to work and they're working.
Well, vast majority, of course,
Yeah, they're contributing
We
to
weren't
wealth.
talking about that, we were talking about homeless people and beggars.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the vast majority of Eastern Europeans who come here and they're contributing to our economy, they're working hard,
What,
they're
by
paying
sending
taxes.
it home?
They're paying taxes here.
I think that if anybody, whether it's our listeners or anybody here, actually listen to why people are homeless or what they're doing on the street, you may well find, like me, time and time again, people just haven't even got money for that night, and it's just totally unacceptable.
Well,
this is where they need to reform the welfare system, surely, shouldn't they?
I'm not sure.
They need to reform the welfare system and bring back, like you said earlier, more community care and counselling.
So-called community care, I mean, very often it means that people are left to their families, and they don't, the families can't, hard-working families don't have the time to look after. The welfare cuts are absolutely disgraceful. If you get if your partner earns over 7,500, I think it is now, you don't get entitled to any kind of help at all.
Yeah.
What kind of couple? Which couple in this country can live on £7,500?
No, I know.
But then again, families. This has been an assault on families for years. It's fragmented. Families are not.
The Labour Party have done it. The Tories have done it. The Liberals.
For a long time.
It's been going on for what, 200 years?
Yeah,
The abuse of families.
All right. So listen, Peter and Zenith, you've got to go, haven't you? Yeah, or you can stay if you want, Zenith. Peter's got to go, haven't you?
I've got to go.
Listen, Peter, it's been great having you on the show,
It's been great.
Yeah, see you again,
Yeah, thanks for your enlightening us with the Occupy London movement, and I think it's a credit to Peter that he comes from Reading to do this campaign and everything, and you admire that, and he's got a full-time job as well.
I think to start with it was brilliant, but I think, to be honest, it overstayed its welcome.
Well, I mean, we could talk about that.
We've moved now.
I know that. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, what happens as you're just leaving? Can I just ask you, what happens to the movement now because you've been evicted?
Well, we've got.
We have Occupy Downing Street. That'd be a good one.
Yeah,
that could be a good idea. Yeah, the security is quite tight though. So
I know it is. Yeah.
Anyway, we've got a site at Finsbury Square now.
Okay.
Where we're carrying on, but we're also just carrying on. We've set up lots of working groups on different issues. We've spoken about our energy, equity, and environment working group.
Right. Okay.
So we've got lots of people working on the corporations. Working on the City of London. Which is a corrupt and undemocratic organisation, by the way. It's the only local authority in the country that isn't voted by the people who live there.
Sounds like a new political party going to be arriving.
Anyway,
soon.
So there are lots of people who are working on different issues. We're planning lots of stuff. One big thing that we've got coming up is that we're going to do a walk through all the 32 boroughs of London, starting on the 1st of May, to tie up with events that are happening all over the world, in places around the world. And we're going to hold popular assemblies where people can actually come along and discuss their local issues. That's starting on the 1st of May and going through to the end of August. No, the end of July.
Right. Okay.
So that's something we'll be bringing Occupy to Londoners. So that's something that people will be interested in. So if you want more details on that, as I said before, go to occupylsx.org.
Right.
Yeah, and there's lots of information there about what we're doing, what we're planning.
Right, okay.
Thanks very much.
Right, no, it's great stuff, Peter, and I'll be in touch regarding documentary at some point.
Great.
No, have a nice ride back on your Brompton bike.
Yeah, to promote British industry here, Brompton bicycles, absolutely brilliant. Best thing I've ever bought.
The only thing is you can't afford them.
Great stuff. Right, I'll email you. Right, okay. So we've still got Zenith, and I'm going to ask her about her name in a second. And we've still got, of course, Mike, the one and only Mike, who certainly comes out with his views, don't you, Mike? You just let it rip, don't you?
Yeah, am I allowed to stay now, Mike, or am I supposed to emigrate at your disposal?
No, he sort of went down in the nicest possible way.
No, but I do get very angry with people that come to England and start gobbing it off and running us down. 90% of the people in this country, no, 99% of the people in this country are nice, genuine, hard-working people.
Yeah. And
it's not for aliens. I'd rather call them aliens.
Well, the Americans call immigrants aliens, don't they?
Yeah, legal aliens.
Come in here.
I think some Americans are aliens, actually, but anyway, let's not.
I agree with you there, Mel Gibson.
Well, he's Australian, actually.
Well, I should say I am half English, half Norwegian, and I've got a British passport, and I grew up here. So
I think
both countries.
I think I mean, obviously there are problems in this country. Obviously, we touched on many of them in the first hour. But if you compare England with the rest of Europe and the rest of the world, it's still one of the best places to live. It is. I mean, let's not run the country down too much. No. We are open. Most people do get looked after, not everyone.
Our politicians run down, but not the people.
And the people are welcoming. Most people are, and obviously, you know, I mean, my dad came here in the 60s as an immigrant.
No, they don't. I'm glad, John, you agree with me.
I agree in that part. I'm not a lover of politicians, not at all. I think something happens to somebody when suddenly they wake up one morning and say, I want to be a leader of men.
It's power.
It's part of reality.
It's control freaks.
There they are, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, we're still sort of closing off one or two arguments from the first hour, which is certainly quite fascinating. Zenith, can I ask you about your name first, and then you can fire off a couple of things I think you wanted to say. But
sure, my name's Zenith with Z-E-N-I-T-H.
Where's that come from? I've never heard of a woman called Zenith before.
No, good.
Carburettor.
Watches, windows.
Zenith windows. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, what it is I was called Phoenix a while ago. That was a self-chosen name. Yeah. And then I went to a peaceful communication workshop that some people around here might be interested in.
No thanks. I've got enough to do.
And it was, based on non-violent communication. And anyway, there's a lovely American lady there, and we just hit it off the first day of bantering. And then the second day she came up to me and she literally said, I got a new name for you, Zenith. I can't even remember your old name.
Really?
So,
so what was the name that you were
what were you
baptised with, or christened with, or given?
I don't know. Tracy.
It wasn't Tracy or something?
No, well that's Phoenix.
Was it a Norwegian name?
What was your name, Phoenix?
No, I created it.
Was it a Norwegian name?
No, it's not actually. It's not necessarily a name.
Oh, you don't? Tell us later.
It's a word, isn't it?
Okay.
I want the listeners to know.
It means the peak or the apex. Or
Parrish. Sorry, Mike. You know the word parish. Where does that originate from? Do you know?
Parish.
The Old English parish, as in the parish church or parish council.
But, in the old days, when you went into show business, we had a closed shop, and you had to be a member of Equity.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
Bector, or one or the other.
Yeah.
Well, no, Bector didn't come into the 90s.
Yeah.
But anyway, and it was for privacy reasons. You were given another identity.
Right.
Which is quite handy, actually.
Right. So you made up Parrish?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
It was made up for me by a person.
So what's your real name then? What I'm getting at is I think you're an illegal immigrant, and I think really we need to report you to Home Office, get you evicted, send you back to...
Tell me which country I'm illegally from.
I reckon you're from probably somewhere like... John, any ideas?
He's a Londoner.
No.
London. You're a Londoner. Yeah.
I am.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But what amazes me is all English people, all English white Caucasian people, back off to the sun to get your colour tan,
I know.
and then come back. It's disgraceful.
Oh,
isn't
well, I know. Well, there you go. I was going to say, you remind me of so much of Alan Sugar. Doesn't he talk like Alan Sugar?
I've actually done the role.
Yeah, I know. We talked about that before, didn't we, when we met up in the pub? But
Yeah.
you do talk like Alan Sugar. And
Did
in
you
fact,
have
you
whiskey with us when we were in the pub, or did you not?
No, I just had pints of ale, actually.
Ah.
But
Pints of whiskey,
it's
drink
even
like
got... you've even got his beard, haven't you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you didn't want it. You end up
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Zenith, you was going to fire off some points, some more points that
Yeah, come on.
you wanted to.
We're enjoying today.
Yeah, go on, and then we'll
You're a
concentrate.
bit new agey with a name like Zenith, though. Is that? If
I
was
just think it's really cool. I mean,
It does, it sort of strikes it up.
Yeah, New Age
It
travel.
strikes out new agey.
Yeah, but
into
well,
astrology and
for somebody,
things.
actually, it is astronomy based
It
because
is,
actually the zenith means where the sun on
Yeah,
the
right, the
moon.
nadir is the opposite, isn't
Exactly. So when the sun on the moon is at the top,
it? Yeah.
but
Yeah.
so that's where it comes from.
No, yeah.
I think this, obviously we're the group that Peter and I are both in, energy, equity, and environment. As I say before this program, we were looking at what were examples of those, and really they react into. And one of the things we touched on food poverty. Obviously, there's food poverty, and it's
Food
we've
poverty.
got over 1 in 7 people on this planet that are actually in food scarcity.
I'm not
I know,
surprised.
I
We've
know.
got a population. The planet's got a population it can't sustain.
7 billion.
7 billion, yeah.
The trouble is that we got some people in some of the poorer nations are having lots of kids now.
Yeah, India
but-
wants to put some control.
But then, you know what it is, in India, I mean, I could talk about India, the richer people have 1 or 2 kids, 2 or 3 at most, and the poorer, the reason I think the poorer people still have 5 or 6 kids, although it is going down now, though, they are, and I think in the old days it was like, 2 or 3 of them will die by the time they get to their teenage years, so they've still got some of that mentality, we've got to have 4 or 5 kids, because 2 or 3
India
will
got the
die.
mentality.
Yeah.
Girl, let's get rid of.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Female infanticide. Don't get me started on that.
I want to ask you
Yeah.
something, Tan.
Yeah, because I know the culture very well, and it is
I know
very
you do. I know.
pro-boy.
Yeah.
Even in China, I mean, they kill millions of female fetuses.
I want to ask you a question.
And in
Tan.
fact, my mum died as a result of an abortion. But anyway, go ahead.
Right. Why do you refer to children as kids? They're not goats. I'm sick of listening to that.
Yeah, I like the name kids.
Well,
What's wrong with kids?
But you
Oh,
are
Name,
children.
isn't it?
We did a survey.
Yeah.
And do you know most young people do not like that expression? Do you
Really?
know it's so derogatory?
Yeah, but are we getting a bit too far with this? That we can't
I
say
think
this?
most
No.
kids didn't care.
Kids.
What's wrong with kids?
No,
Chuck
just
the kids out. Say, get them out.
yeah.
Anyway, look, yeah, go on.
Yeah,
Zenith,
yeah.
Mike, we're going to come on to you in about 5 minutes. Let Zenith finish. And
I want to pick up on what you said now because this I've seen a documentary about people in Africa and they've got very good results. Healthcare has got very good results when the women were sufficiently confident that their children would live to have fewer.
That's right.
It's the same issue, and also to be more education about birth control and what have you.
Yeah.
And these can be very successful. But I would say, on the other hand, which listeners might not know, is that it's actually kids over here in the West that are using the resources. One kid over here uses many times the resources of somebody in a developing country, whether that's water.
We do waste. I mean, I admit, we do it at home as well. I try not to, but do waste things. We waste water.
Watch my television programme, The Urban Garden, and I'll show you how to
We
save
try not to,
water.
though. I mean, we try not to.
We do
Without
everything
getting more.
we do on The Urban Garden.
I always tell my kids
It's the
not to
same.
waste food. Always finish their plate.
Yeah.
Think about the poor people living that don't have a full plate of food every day, and there's millions of people. And they've been there. They've seen kids starving and begging in the streets and stuff.
And it's also taking apples and lamb and what have you from New Zealand, carting it literally all over the world, and it's just not necessary.
No,
Do we
I know.
import lamb from New Zealand
Yes, we
still?
do.
Yeah, we
I
do.
think
Oh, yeah.
It's not as
We do.
widely available as it used to
It
be.
used to be cheap. It's so
And,
expensive now.
yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't.
And apples, I mean, And it's just not necessary.
Well, look, I was going to ask you about ecocide as well, briefly, before we go on to Mike, and he reveals all his secrets.
Yeah.
All his secrets. Yeah, ecocide.
Can I hassle him back?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, Zenith. Go on. Ecocide.
Ecocide. Now, ecocide is genocide of the environment, and it's more and more a term that I'd like to see used, because if we get our heads around ecocide and the need not to perpetuate it and promote it, then we could really get somewhere. For example, in the Energy, Equity and Environment group that we're in, people are interested in tar sand, they're interested in fracking, and there's fracking's where they apply high pressure to get oil from the deep down in the earth, which can set up small
mini quakes.
Yeah. And tar sands is taking a tremendous amount of area to provide a small amount of oil. And as I've
don't they do that in Canada, tar sands?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they do.
It's big in Canada, isn't
absolutely.
BHP bulletins.
And palm oil, as I said, which is causing massive rainforest destruction. All these things should come under the banner of ecocide. They should not be allowed. They should certainly not be promoted by the government as they are now. They should be looked at as far as ecocide, that they are that businesses should be accountable, government should be accountable, and just not allowed, because what's going on at the moment is these three forms, and probably more, of extreme energy. They're undermining all the good we've done in looking at the environments and protecting them. So let's raise that on the agenda.
I think the key is like you said earlier, education is the key, and letting people know the full facts rather than being misled by the media who have their own agenda, and of course the multinationals, of course, who do, some of them do a lot of good work, but some of them do exploit the producers of
still creating jobs.
Well, they are, but what I'm saying is, you've heard of fair trade, and they are making some inroads with that. You need to let people in poorer countries be paid a fair price for all their hard work. Otherwise,
it's happening.
It is happening, but it needs to happen more, quicker.
But it won't.
Why not?
Why?
We've got the power to do it. We've got the money to do it.
No, it's not.
Just need the willpower.
Do we have the infrastructure to do it? And all the necessary things in place.
And part of the reason I know is the bureaucracy and corruption in some of these poor countries, and I can say that.
Oh yeah,
with experience.
One, mate, where corruption's right.
I know. Well, it is lessening, but it's still in your face. I'll say good thing. The strange thing about corruption in a country like India is that it's in your face. If you're going to bribe someone, you just do it in front of everybody.
So is it in Argentina, and I've just
but what I'm saying is, as we've seen in this country, with what's happening with Murdoch and the press and the bankers and with the politicians, it's not in your face. It's backhanders. It's brown paper envelopes. All right. So corruption does happen in this country.
And also,
it is, but not all the way. Yeah, go on.
And also, as well as out and out corruption, one thing I've been up against in the biofuels, the palm oil power station issue that I was telling you about, those campaigns. One thing that we've been up against is completely outdated planning laws. For example, to build one of those power stations, obviously you have to get planning permission by the planning
authorities.
The councillors that do the planning councillors.
They don't actually.
And the planning
they
officers.
don't.
There's a lot of corruption that
Can
goes on.
I explain one thing? You're wrong. The planning decisions are made by like civil servants within the council. These are proper planning trained officers. These are surveyors, architects, all within the council. They then advise the councillors whether to say yes or no.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
can I just say something? I know some builders, and I also know builders that have been in the industry for a number of years, and they tell me, in no uncertain terms, that corruption goes on a lot in these planning situations, and people are getting bribed, whether they're councillors, whether they're MPs, or whether they're civil servants. They are getting bribed by these big developers who are being allowed to build on greenbelt land, or build as many flats or apartments as possible. And this
anybody
is
who knows corruption should not sit in front of the mic or whatever,
it goes on.
Give it a large one.
No.
But do something about it.
But yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is, I can't do anything about it because I don't work in the industry. But I'm being told that this happens.
But the person who's telling you should go along to the local police station and make.
Well, hang on a second. As we've heard with the Livingston inquiry, the police are in it as well. Who do you trust?
Yeah, well,
you know, who do you trust?
It's getting sorted now, Tan.
It is getting sorted. I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, the problem is still there.
You'll always have corruption with this money.
Yeah, I know.
In the planning decisions that I've been looking at, there are different layers of it all, and you quite rightly say it's the planning officer that assesses whether or not it would be good to have a building in that place, and then it goes to the planning committee meeting, and then the councillors debate about it and decide
and listen to the objections.
Yeah or nay. And they listen to the objections, which has been me on some occasions and other colleagues. So the thing is that the planning officers, they basically look at the factors of the actual site, because that is what planning law in this country asks them to do.
And the detriment to the environment.
Yeah, but that environment, and here's the one, that environment is only literally on the site where the building is. It does not assess.
Look at the wider infrastructure.
Exactly, you've got it. They don't look at what the environmental impact will be on everybody else.
I know. I mean, me and John, we live in the same area in Thurrock in Essex, and we can tell you so many different examples of where. I'll give you one example. The local college, right? They are going to move, or they want to move to the town centre, and they're going to build hundreds and hundreds of new houses where the college is, and basically thousands of people have signed a petition objecting to the new development, but the councillors have still allowed it to go ahead. So it just goes to show that, you know, when people do get together, the politicians and the councillors and the regulators don't really give two hoots, and they just go ahead with it anyway. Which is why it just makes me more suspicious as to
they change your councillors.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I've been involved with 3 of these power stations applications, and on 3 of them, in every case, the councillors were against it, and even the 4th, they were against it to start off with. But what happens? They say no, they don't want it. And the part of planning law, and this, I just want to get this point because it really is insane in 2012 to be talking about this. What they were looking at for whether or not these plants should have permission or not, planning permission or not, is actually the site itself. So the actual place itself, whether it was going to be okay for even nature and this and that and water and what have you. And that is what they were supposed to look at, not, as you said, Nat, the wider environment. In this case, obviously, we're talking about the rainforest and what have you.
Yeah.
So then but the councillor said no, and that was in some of the cases it was because there were local problems, like the power station would have given a massive amount of pollution, which would really have hurt the local people. And also sometimes transport jams. So where there were local issues, and it was easy for the council, relatively easy if the councillors said no, as well as having lots of local opposition. So they were listened to. They did listen.
On my doorstep.
So then,
but
then what happened, and this is where it's really dark, because then these cases would go to appeal if the companies wanted it, despite the democratic, and that was a democratic.
And they win it on appeal sometimes, don't they?
Yeah.
They win it on appeal. But I just the thing is, I mean, we're going back to our local area. They've just built 10,000 homes in this, and they created a new town called Harchander, and they're building another 10,000 homes all around the area now. But we just haven't got the roads, public transport.
We haven't got enough water.
We haven't got enough water.
Don't tell me about it.
The roads are getting crowded because schools, obviously, and the schools are getting crowded. Nobody's listening.
We've got Thames Water have announced that we're all going to be rationed soon.
Yeah.
Why? It's nothing to do with the lack of water. It's to do with the amount of bloody houses they keep building without consideration for schools, hospitals.
I know you are. So you're on my. That's where I think the corruption comes in.
But Nat, the example, where are you talking about? Whether is that south of by any chance?
No, Thurrock in Essex.
Okay, well they're doing the same over here in West London.
Right.
There's been a massive case going on for over a decade because they wanted to build, I think, 10,000 or even 12,000 houses in Southall, just here.
Southall?
Yes.
I know Southall, but where the hell are they going to build them?
Exactly. On the
It's already crowded. Have you tried going through Broadway in Southall? It takes you about 3 hours to.
Now, who's corrupted this? I suppose the Indian High Commission.
No.
No,
Don't blame the Indians.
Sorry, this is directly from Boris Johnson, because this has been going on for 10 years.
Boris.
There's been a massive outcry of the residents.
You just can't sustain all this building.
And
I
they
mean,
want
you
to
can't
put it
sustain it because look. I mean, the traffic. It's madness in Southall.
Build it up,
I know Southall. I've been there many times.
Providing jobs
and Farrow in Essex, where we know, we've got Lakeside Shopping Centre, one of Europe's biggest shopping centres. It's a great place to go. But what I'm saying is, when they allow these developments to go ahead, they don't have public transport. We're just outside London, so we don't get London buses, we don't get the tubes. So the public transport is naff, and so people have to use their cars. People use their cars, and the roads are a lot
pollution.
And you asked where it would be put now in Southall, and the old gasworks, which is on top of loads of really toxic soil.
Yeah.
So people start digging their gardens.
But don't politicians? This is what politicians do, isn't it? It's like hurt and rescue.
Yeah.
They'll create a mess and then they'll clean it up.
No, they run away then. They deliberately get voted out.
I know.
Well, when they clean it up,
it's to clear it up.
So it's ongoing.
It's a terrible vicious circle.
I know. I mean, they're all as bad as each other. The trouble is that the Tories are too close to business, right? And the Labour Party.
Well, we need a smaller government. It's like you were saying, smaller.
Yeah. We need more local people.
Smaller government, not
we need
more local people. That's what we needed.
I mean,
We're always going to have a government of some
local people power. This went in Southall. This went on for over a decade.
Yeah.
And eventually it went after appeal after appeal after appeal, and eventually went to Boris Johnson. I was there, and why would he put there's obviously there's a need for housing in London, but as we've all agreed, or some of us have agreed, there's 100,000 houses or living spaces, and then they want to dump this on people that are already.
So why is there such a need? There's such a need because of immigration.
So
they've kept immigration, don't they? People want to come to London, come to the south of England because that's where the wealth is.
There's a lot of people that emigrate actually. In fact, I think if you look at the stats,
the net immigration is still
not.
Let's save immigration for another debate.
But everything sort of dovetails.
I know it does. But look, I want to ask you about that. What did Boris say about that development then?
He said that he had to put the housing needs above the needs of.
So he's allowed it.
Yeah.
Well, that's disgraceful.
It's absolutely.
You can only have a 10-foot.
That area right by Heathrow Airport is crazy. The M4 is crazy. The M25 around that area is crazy, and I think he should be shot.
You guys are sleeping under a flyover. Is that? I saw it in the news.
That's West.
Oh yeah, that's also near there. Yeah.
No, that's on the way.
That was
the M4 corridor.
Yeah. I mean, this is crazy. The traffic is crazy.
They can't go back. They came here illegally.
Yeah. Well, they don't have the ID.
Because they destroyed their passport.
Yeah. Let's not even talk about immigration here because we're digressing. I'm going to concentrate in the last half hour on Mike, and also we'll have then we'll talk about some of their own stuff in the last 5 minutes. So, Mike, listen, you have been in the film industry for the last 55 years. You're an illegal immigrant. Right, we've just discovered that you will get deported by the end of this show.
Yeah.
Me and John are going to drive you to Heathrow Airport.
Yeah.
Ship you back to Australia.
Yeah.
Right?
Australia.
Yeah. That's where you're going. That's where you're
I don't think Erling Doors will agree to that.
You got a house over there anyway. But look, let's want to talk about your experiences in the film industry. If you want to just talk about firstly your first few roles and some of the famous stars you worked with, and then I'm sure Zenith and John will interject at times. Go ahead.
Started off with Dixon and Doc Green.
Dixon and Doc Green in what year?
56.
56. So that makes you about 85 years old.
No, it doesn't. I was a child actor.
All right, okay. And by the way, just to apologise for the use of the word bloody, but basically Mike is trying to copy Alan Sugar, so he keeps saying the word bloody. That's the only reason. So no offence intended.
No.
Go on.
Now I started off as a child actor, and then I went into journalism, come back into acting.
Yeah.
And now I've got 3 gorgeous young ladies that provide me and get me so much work.
Yeah.
That I love them dearly.
And is it true that you were part of the Four Musketeers and you drove on with the retail alcoholism? Is it true?
I do miss Oliver Reed.
Yeah.
I miss Georgie Best.
Yeah.
Jimmy White's still alive, and I'm still alive. But it ain't the same. And they were, when Georgie Best died, there was, because of kidney transplants and things like that, people got really nasty.
Yeah.
But they didn't know him. If they'd known him, they would have realised what a lovely guy he is. Don't forget, we all drink, and part of it is...
Well, most people do, not everybody.
No,
I think we all do.
actors especially.
Oh, yeah, I know. Because you're insecure, aren't you?
I'm not, but...
No. Oh, well, we can see that.
90% are.
Yeah.
But also, it's... sometimes it's a pretty lonely life.
Yeah, I know. And look, don't forget, at any one time, professional actors, 90% of them are out of work.
That's right.
And so, you know, it's a very insecure business. So anyway,
I don't let people down.
No. So your best memories of the last 50 years. Go ahead, go on.
I suppose it was... we were in Wimbledon and where we live, and Ollie phoned me up and we'll have a pint, right? There was this guy in Wimbledon who was a character called Speedy, who sadly died, and I know his three sons, nice guys. I know Dean really well, and this ruckus started in this pub in Hayden's Road. Oh, it was hilarious, but no one won.
Okay.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
But I suppose my good times is last year I was in a film, and this young lad came up to me and said, "Excuse me, Mr. Parrish, do you remember me?" I looked at him and I thought, I've got to say something here.
Yeah.
So I told the porky and said, "Oh yes, I remember." He said, "Yeah, you were my nobleman. I was the taxman in Robin Hood."
Which Robin Hood is that? So many versions.
Russell Crowe.
Oh, okay.
And Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
But,
I haven't seen that one actually. Is it good? What's the film like?
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Cost a lot of money, mate.
I'm sure it did, especially with Russell Crowe's
They're going to make a
wages.
follow-on to that, aren't they, though?
Well,
it's only how he became Robin Hood, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Ridley Scott is a brilliant director.
He is, yeah.
And
He's done some great stuff, hasn't he?
He has.
Blade Runner.
Gladiator, Blade Runner,
Alien.
Alien.
Black Hawk Down.
But you know what?
He is, yeah.
He was a nobody.
Yeah.
He was a lad. Well, people get angry with me when I call him people in Middlesbrough Geordies, but they come from up north.
Yeah.
And,
Well, they are Geordies.
He's brilliant.
Well, yeah, man.
And
Yeah. See? I'm a Geordie. Yeah, go ahead.
But what he's done with his life is brilliant.
Yeah. No, he's a great British export as well, isn't
I
he?
get very angry when I listen to people slagging people off, like Guy Ritchie and Russell Crowe and Ridley Scott. Get to know them, and you'll find they're really lovely people.
They never answer my phone calls, funny enough.
Well, but surprise, John.
But you don't like Mel Gibson though, do you?
No.
And why don't you like Mel Gibson?
I'd rather not say. I think he's very racial.
Yeah, well, I think that's been in the news, but
no, I just he's rude and
arrogant.
Yeah.
But Russell Crowe's a bit like that.
No, he isn't.
Isn't he?
Don't you dare say that about my mate. He's
no.
He's lovely.
Your drinking partner.
No. Well, yes, I've had a drink with him.
Yeah.
But
did he buy your point?
No.
No, see, that's what you go. The richer you are, the tighter you are with money. It's true, isn't it? He's a multi-millionaire, and you had to buy him a pint.
You're saying I'm tight.
No, you're not tight because you're going to take us down the pub after the show.
But what I should be taken down the pub for coming.
That's the only reason I'm here. He said there's a hard drinking actor.
Do you know? I have a card to bring me here.
Mike.
Oh, listen, you shut up a bit. I have a card to bring me here. We're going round Hammersmith. I said, do you know where the lyric is? You've been sent to pick me up. Where's the lyric? There it is. And we keep going past it.
Yeah, I know.
He said, yeah, but I'm trying to find the studio. I said, oh, just drop me off here.
No, that's what I said to you. Just go by the lyric.
Yeah. No, but this driver, who happened to be an Englishman.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Not different colour skin, white Caucasian.
Yeah.
Driving round London with a sat-nav. I'm not surprised I got lost with a sat-nav. Oh, I don't know. What are we going to do?
He's probably just trying to up his takings a bit by just going round and round pretending to be lost.
Yeah,
These sat navs can really lead you astray. We were going. I was trying to find in Chiswick. Was trying to find a road, and the sat nav actually expect us to jump up to the flyover.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah,
literally thought. I was like, what are we doing here?
What about that family? They had a tom-tom.
Yeah.
They had a tom-tom.
Yeah.
And
his name was Tom.
No, they were going on holiday to Wales.
Yeah.
The tom-tom sent them up this bloody mountain, and they were stuck up the top and couldn't turn round. Yeah.
Well, actually, my sat nav got stolen from my car the other day. Actually.
Did you know the way back?
Yeah, I did. But I just. It's just a shame, innit? I left my car open for a couple of minutes. We were filming, we're doing this short film sketch, and just left it open for a couple of minutes, and then got nabbed from the glove box. But there you go. Anyway, it's just it's a good little set
Do
now.
you know
It
that
cost me about a couple
£100
£100.
reset every day?
Well, I don't have one. I
Every day,
refuse to have one.
the satellite has to be reset. You know, it's in geostationary orbit
Dad,
because time moves at different rates. It moves faster. Or is it slower? Faster the more closer to a massive object you are. So
It bends, doesn't it? Curves.
Indeed,
Yeah.
right.
It curves it, and it bends time.
There is
then you'd
There's
be
the Einstein theory of relativity
take
now.
you to Brentford and then Reading, and then you'd
And you
end up
never
in
know, you'd be
Norway.
back in bloody
And then a
Norway.
year later you'd end up in
Norway!
And then I go
New
skiing
York.
and come back again.
Seriously, it moves at different time is relative to
To the objects, because the objects bend
Where
time,
you are.
don't they? It's the force of gravity.
Google on it.
Yeah. Gravity
Interesting,
bends
no.
time,
I mean,
space-time.
time is an illusion, isn't it?
It's an illusion,
I mean,
man.
Is in my.
Are we real though?
Only when I'm
How do you know, Mike, that you're real and not an illusion?
Then it gets
I
really
pinch
real and I
myself
have to go
every
to work.
morning.
Do you?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
We were talking about me and my career, but
Yeah.
you know, my industry has really gone downhill, thanks to Britain's Got Talent and...
Why is that? Are you saying that us commoners can't be great actors like
No,
you?
it's not that at all. It's... A lot of people have got this idea that there's a lot of glamour with acting, and there isn't. It's hard work.
No, I know it is. You've got to
You're
sleep your way to the top, haven't you?
Yeah, you've got to be up at the crack of dawn. You've got to be on set at say 6 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and you don't. You know.
No, I've worked in lots of film sets. I know the score.
And, but you talk about directors, and
Yeah.
quite recently I did Ra 1 with Terry Bamber.
Yeah.
Now what a guy that man! And I did Luther with him. Oh,
Yeah.
and I got shouted at.
Really.
Mr. Bamber shouted at me.
Really.
But it was my fault.
Yeah.
It was freezing bloody cold.
Yeah.
I think it was January or February.
Yeah.
And the last shoot was about 9 o'clock at night, and there we were, Liverpool Street Station,
Yeah.
upstairs, and I had to walk up this thing. And they were filming, what's his name?
Who?
The main actor in...
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, well, anyway, he was further down
Yeah.
this passageway, and I was walking out of it. And my instruction, oh, Mike, just walk up. Yes, Terry. Anyway, they're down there. I didn't know that Mike could pick it up. There's me walking up this staircase. Zippity-doo-dah, zip. Mike! What? I can hear you singing. Yes, Mr. Bamber.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's such a lovely
That's
person.
not Bamber Gascoigne from University Challenge, is it?
No. No, Terry Bamber.
Oh.
Brilliant director.
Yeah. And of course, you've just come back from Argentina and the Antarctic, haven't you? You've been filming there.
Yeah.
And what was that
It's
film?
warmer.
What's it? What's the film?
It's Abacus.
Abacus. And who's that with?
I'm not allowed to talk about
you've
it.
signed that multi-million-pound contract where you're not allowed to talk
keep your
about
mouth
it.
shut. But we managed to have, we finished filming early, and so my wife joined me, and I spent a lot of money.
What, in Antarctica?
No, she joined me in Ushuaia, which is Patagonia.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
Just as we finished filming, and well, I spent a lot of money. I spent every penny I earned because we got a jet to take us here, there and everywhere. And the locations company that dealt with our locations, I didn't realise, were tour operators. And they organised something. I've got to say this, Anybody going to Argentina, get hold of Juliana from Say Hugo, which was the company. They are brilliant. They really lovely people.
Yeah, but I don't think many Brits are invited to Argentina because they're all that kerfuffle regarding the Falklands.
Now, am I allowed to?
Yeah, go on.
I just hope Dave Cameron
Yeah.
has some common sense
Yeah.
and does not rise to her provocation.
Right.
And we don't celebrate a victory.
Yeah.
There
Which is
is
coming
no-
up next month, isn't it?
Yeah, April, yeah.
Yeah.
There is no victory
Mm.
in people dying.
No.
And we
Yeah.
lost 500 soldiers.
No, it wasn't as much as that. It was about 200 and something.
They lost.
They lost about
Million
750, didn't they?
Well, let's just say 1,500 lives
Yeah, yeah,
were lost. So
terrible.
Christina, I really liked her
yeah.
as the president.
She's just after cheap votes, I think, because the economy's in a mess there, isn't
No,
it?
she's not.
No.
What's happened to you? Talk to Argentine people, they're lovely.
Mm.
They're so kind and gentle. We spent like 6 weeks between Brazil, Chile and
Yeah.
Argentina.
It's a hard life, isn't it, being an actor? eh?
It is.
Yeah.
But no, seriously,
Yeah.
let's put a serious note to it.
Yeah, go on.
She's raised all this
Mm.
to hide her problems at home.
Yeah.
We've heard about the embassy being egged and stoned and flagged. These are rented mobs by her.
Yeah.
They're not Argentine people.
No.
Argentine people on the breadline. Right,
Yeah.
go and do this.
That's what I'm saying. She's just
It's
trying
so
to
corrupt.
go after
But
cheap votes.
she's covering up something far worse.
Yeah.
Argentina is suffering from 29.7% inflation.
That's disgraceful, yeah.
Is it because they've discovered oil off of the Falklands or something? Is that
I think that's partly it.
Yeah, but Argentina should be a rich country. Look at all the
It was the
land.
richest country in the world.
Well,
A
yeah.
few years it was.
I
Sam.
know. I know.
It was the richest.
I know. And
But please don't blame the Argentine people for their president.
but let's
They are
not forget
lovely
that obviously their ancestors, the Spanish. Let's not forget the Spanish who
It will change.
Let's not forget the Spanish, of course, that drove the Indians out and wiped them out during the colonial times. So let's not forget whose land it really was.
Well,
Let's not. When she highlights the Falklands,
don't forget
let's not forget that.
Argentina is really. People don't realise the Indians were actually the Incas.
Yeah,
The Incas
that's what I'm
lived
saying. They were wiped out by the
uh,
Spanish.
Peru,
And the
Paraguay,
Portuguese.
Brazil, Argentina, Chile. That whole top area, the southern, that area in the middle of Latin America was
The Inca Empire. Yeah.
the Inca Empire. And
Yeah.
they're
that's right.
lovely people.
I know.
It was great.
So, what other famous actors you worked with over the last 50 odd years?
Oh.
Any other one you want to point out in particular?
Michael Caine is a thorough
What
gentleman.
did you do with him then?
Snow White. Was it Snow White and Huntsman?
Was it?
Yeah.
And did he ever say to you, "My name is Michael Caine"?
No, he didn't.
Oh, right, okay.
That'd be cruel.
No, okay, all right. No, he's all right, isn't he, old Michael?
Yeah.
I worked with his nephew. No, I didn't work with him. I worked with his. I went to school with his nephew, and he said that he's a bit. He doesn't communicate with his wider relatives. He thinks he's higher than them. Anyway.
Who, Michael Caine?
Yeah.
Does he?
His real name is Maurice Micklewhite. By the way.
Micklewhite.
Yeah.
Not Micklewhite.
And my friend's name was John Micklewhite, who I went to school with, and he's his nephew. And he says, well, he doesn't.
Michael Caine is a gentleman.
Yeah.
Believe it or
Well,
not.
I'm just saying
he
what
is a
he
thorough
told me.
gentleman.
This was years ago,
Yeah,
about
but
20 years
you
ago.
see, a lot of people slag people off out
Yeah.
of jealousy,
Yeah.
and it's not fair and it's not kind.
No.
I've heard some nasty things about Russell Crowe,
Yeah.
and yet on set he's fun.
Yeah.
He's a laugh,
Yeah.
and he's not stuck up his rear end.
No.
He actually talks to all the background artists, gets
Yeah.
spoken to,
Yeah.
and
I know some of them. Yeah. Some of the actors do think they're higher than others.
Yeah.
And I've seen it on set myself. Yeah. Yeah.
well, ask Kay. I've got 3 agents, and
Yeah.
here in London.
Have you got any double agents?
No,
No.
007s are gone.
Oh.
But I've got Venetia, I've got Magda, and I've got Kay. And the 3 of them work damn hard for me, and I can't knock them.
And you worked on Bollywood as well, haven't you?
I've done 9 Bollywoods.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's good fun for you, isn't it?
Oh, I love it. I'm on one tomorrow.
Can you do the Bollywood dance?
No,
No. Okay.
but 0800 Love. That was funny.
Yeah.
We were in Marble Arch, under Marble Arch, and I had a lovely little role. I was granddad, and there was.
You look too young.
Oh, thanks. I love you. That doesn't mean I'm buying you a drink when we get out of this studio. But anyway, there we were, and we'd been wrapped.
Yeah.
Wrapped, by the way, listeners, means you're finished for
Yeah.
the day. But they were carrying on doing it, and they were dancing and the music, and we were really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Waiting for the transport to take us back to base, which was the Cumberland Hotel. And there we were, boogieing along, and all of a sudden the director's gone, cut! And he came over to me, he said, would you not do it over there? Do you mind this being a bit extra in the bill? We've all gone, no, we love it. And there we were, boogieing along. Great, all these, middle-aged people and old fogies like me, fogies. It was great. But that's what films are all about.
No, I know.
And I do love my Indians films.
Yeah, but you couldn't eat a whole one, though, could you?
No.
What do you do in them? What's your role?
Well, in Madras Platinum, I played the vicar at the funeral, and that was, I'm going to tell you about that.
Yeah, go on.
You're all laughing.
Go on.
It's at the beginning of the film, and the church is full of background artists and supporting artists, and I'm there. We're gathered here today to celebrate the life of cut. So we cut. Mike, do that again, but I want a back shot. So I've looked, we've got a real coffin. So I kicked the coffin, and it's in a real little church in this village. I kicked the coffin, I said, you nasty little, I won't swear.
No.
45 years you've been in prison. I've had to ask, Mike, this was B.J. Galanti, the director. No, this is not the script we agreed. You wrote the script, that is not the script we agreed. I said, no, it's freezing bloody cold. I'm trying to cheer all the background artists up and the supporting cast.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You sure you're not going to mention that on camera? I said, no, don't worry, B.J.
Yeah.
Back we go.
Yeah.
Do another little scene. Cut. So I then tell.
Yeah.
Now, the background artists and the supporting cast didn't realise this was not part of the film.
Yeah.
We were now turn to page 27 and sing the 23rd Psalm.
Yeah.
The Lord's my shepherd. So I've got the whole of the supporting cast of background artists singing Abide With Me.
Yeah.
The 23rd, oh, it's hilarious. And BJ standing there pulling his hair out. He said, what am I going to do with you? I said, well, it's freezing. Then we came out and find our cars nearly well clamped. Because we were all parked in a pub. And we shouldn't have been. But anyway, we get some funny things. But come on, let's talk about you, John.
Yeah, John, he's not a thespian, are you, John? Are you just
I'm not a thespian.
No. He's travelled the world, though. Oh, John has, in his early 20s.
Well, we both got something in common. South Africa and Australia.
I stole a loaf of bread from Romford Market, I ended up in Australia.
Really?
6 years.
Convicts, that's where they go, isn't it? Australia.
Yeah.
Lived
And
in
they
South
got-
Africa.
They got the cheek to call us pommies.
They didn't like us out there.
No.
Did they then?
Skippies. That's what they are. Skippies.
Skivvies. Or skivvies? or-
Skippies.
As in
I remember.
Skippy the
They
kangaroo.
were racial. They were this was back in the 70s. I mean, I remember because I go sort of quite. I tan up. I must have got a melanin in the sun. I go quite brown. And I must have looked sort of a bit sort of Italian or something. And I remember in Australia, I was in this back in the days we used to ask the girl to dance. And
When you were a gentleman.
I thought this girl was looking at me, and I discovered later she was cross-eyed. But anyway, I managed to.
The old ones are always the best.
Chairs, like about
I'm sure I should have looked anyway.
200 metres or something, and walked right across there, and I said, would you like to dance? It was or dance or something. She said, no, I don't dance with wogs. Because that's what they used to call Australians. See,
Yeah.
Australians used to call Italians.
Yes.
And then they called them wogs.
Eye-ties.
The eye-ties. That's what they called them, wogs. Everybody was a wog.
But you know,
If you want Australian, they're very, very racist.
Yeah.
nation.
Well, Australia had a white-only
I said,
policy
"Do you
for a
mind?"
while, didn't they?
I'm
Only
Irish.
letting white people until the
I've
70s.
come from
Yeah.
Irish background.
Yeah.
But I was
But
very
no,
good.
it did.
And I had
Why only
to plug
policy,
my
yeah.
way
And then-
across. and I
How
went
bizarre
back
is that?
to
Because
London.
obviously, land of the
What was
Aborigines
it?
and
About
that.
5 years ago, John Howard, who was the Prime Minister Australia. It was to do with the cricketer. Was it
Shane
Ricky?
Warne?
No, Ricky.
Oh, Ricky Ponting.
Ponting.
Yeah.
Someone complained to the Australian government about us being called pommies.
Yeah.
And he had a debate in Parliament,
About that. Yeah.
right, in Queenborough, about us being.
Yeah, but
And then announces that it's perfectly alright for the Aussies to call us pommies.
yeah, but the bizarre thing is though that most Australians are actually of British or Irish origin.
Yeah,
so who's kidding who here?
Irish,
Yeah.
Welsh, yeah.
No. So they're originally their grandfathers, great grandfathers are British anyway. So anyway, no, go on then. Are you ready to talk? Well, go on then. Get ready. Quickly.
You want to talk?
It will give him a minute before we wrap up. No, what are you going to talk about? Star Wars? No, he's going to talk about a secret religion.
I'll tell you what.
He's going to. By the way, Mike, you're going to get him a part of the next Indiana Jones film.
Yeah,
You promised him.
I'm going to have a word.
George
with
Lucas.
No, I'm
And
gonna
Steven
have a-
Spielberg.
No, I'm going to have a. Forget Mr. Spielberg. He's a lovely guy. I'm going to speak to Magda. I'm going to speak to Venetia. I'm going to speak to Kay. Whichever one is doing the castings for the background artists, I'll have a word. See if I can get you a little role.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
he's mad about Indiana Jones.
I know he is. He
Yeah.
wants me to whip him.
Yeah.
I'm not into that,
No.
especially children.
No, he'll whip you. Don't worry about
You know
that.
what I'm going to do? Right, I'm going to say goodbye to the listeners because you're the little celebrity now. This is your opportunities knocking without you agreeing.
Yeah. Go on, Mike. Oh, yeah, okay. Go on then. Go on, quick. Are you ready to talk? Yes or no?
Sit. You've got to sit in the chair. properly.
While he's getting ready, I mean, Zenith, was you going to ask Mike anything about his, no? John?
Well, just to throw in my bit that might not go down very well, but
Yeah, go on.
just to remind the listeners that it was in fact Belgrano was hit.
Oh, yeah,
and
General Belgrano, yeah.
And the Belgrano ship was actually outside the war zone and
Don't
going
let's go into
further.
the politics.
No, I'm
Soldiers
just-
lost their lives.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, on both sides. I'm
Yeah.
just remembering that they were actually outside
Argentina
outside
and
the war
Britain
zone,
Yeah,
should
yeah.
not
Steaming
be
away.
celebrated.
steaming away. So
Yeah.
therefore, that's a war crime that I think should be investigated.
Well,
Right, okay. Alright, go on then, Mr. Harchander Dhillon. You're going to talk about what?
The 5K.
5Ks in the Sikh religion. Go on, go ahead. Go on, time is money, quick. Mike might help you there.
There's some pants called K.
finish.
The uncut hair gives a visible
Identity.
identity
The Sikhs.
to
Speak up a bit, come on, like you normally do.
the
Kanga.
Ganga, yeah, the comb.
It is for keeping hair tidy
And clean, yeah.
Well,
and well groomed.
not
Right,
like you. You look like a little hedgehog because
Yeah.
you've got no hair.
yeah.
It's all
Go on, next one.
Kara.
The kara is the bracelet, steel bracelet.
It is steel bangle, circular in shape, with
Go on, help him there, Mike.
Representing
representing
timelessness. That's right.
timelessness, and it worn
On the right, or on the right hand.
arm.
On the right arm, yeah. Next one.
It
Hold on, he hasn't
Oh,
finished.
sorry.
You're rushing.
Alright, I'm not Russian.
Rushing.
Rushing.
it is a
Constant.
constant
Re-
reminder to a Sikh to watch his actions.
That's correct.
Right.
Now, why should he watch his actions?
Because if they do something wrong, they have.
He's a peace-loving person.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, Kasha, have I?
Kasha, yeah.
Yeah,
Kasha,
pronounce that properly.
The short pants give the Sikhs a
Distinctive.
distinctive and active dress instead of
Loose.
loose.
Now, what? How do you pronounce that?
Loose. What are you spelling?
It's DHOTI.
Oh, Dhoti. Dhoti.
Dhoti.
Dhoti, yeah. That's like an Indian.
Now, what's the next one?
The
No, it's Kirpan.
Kirpan, yeah.
Oh, Kirpan.
Kirpan. Which is the sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sword is for self protection.
Defense, self-defense, yeah.
To resist
Oppression.
and to protect
The weak.
The weak.
It is
Symbolic.
of freedom and
Sovereignty.
sovereignty of an individual.
Now, who else has that sword? And has the same attitude? There's another bunch of people.
Go on, Mike. Enlighten us.
Samurai.
Oh, right. What, the Japanese warriors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is exactly
Yeah.
perfect, mate.
Yeah. You can do if you hurry up, but we are getting to the end of the show. Of course, Mike, you've had plenty of experience in India as well with the Sikhs and stuff like with the Bollywood movies and so you know a lot of people.
Lovely people.
People on that side
They're nice.
of the pond. Yeah. Well, look. Well, we're coming to the end of the show. All right. What are you going to talk about now? We'll save it for next time. Yeah. Shall we? What are you going to talk about? It has to be quick though.
Just
What?
the gurus.
Oh, all right. Then quickly name them.
The guru.
The gurus.
The
John's a guru, by the way. He's a modern guru.
first guru.
Guru,
By
not
the way, guru means teacher.
teacher. Yeah, that's what it means. Yeah. Go on. Go ahead. Quickly.
Guru Nanak was the first one.
Yeah.
Guru Amardas is Guru Angad Dev is the second one. Guru Amardas is the third one. Guru
Ramadas.
Ramadas is the fourth one.
And fifth one, Guru Arjan Dev.
Yeah, is the fifth one. He's the fifth
They're the
one.
same as imams, aren't they? They're teachers.
Yeah, I mean they were teaching. I mean obviously they were.
Same as rabbis. They're
Yeah, they basically it's a bit like Jesus.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit like having
prophet.
Jesus. So yeah, kind of like teachers. So instead of having one, the Sikhs had 10. We had 10 sort of teachers, as it
The
were.
sixth guru is Guru
Hargobind.
Hargobind.
Yeah, go on.
The seventh guru is Harai. Guru Harai.
Harara.
The eighth one is Guru Krishna.
Right. Okay.
Harka Karisha.
All right. Quickly.
He's the youngest. The ninth guru is Guru Tek Bahadur.
All right.
The 10th one is Guru Gobind Singh.
Gobind Singh.
The 11th one is Guru Granth Sahib.
Which is the supposed to be the living guru, the holy book, bit like the Holy Bible.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, look quickly. It's nice having you on the show. And Zenith, we had a really feisty first hour with Mike and John and Peter. Yeah. Well, be quiet now. And John, thanks for your input. How have you found the show today?
Very, yeah, good.
Yeah.
Like
And
it.
Mike,
Good.
any closing comments? Words of wisdom.
Yes, I suppose.
Go on then.
Let us all strive.
Speak up a bit.
Let us all strive to make it a better world
Yeah.
for all of us.
Yeah. That's. I think we all.
I've got something to say.
Yeah. Go on then.
Mike loves Sikhism.
Who?
What?
Mike loves Sikhism.
Mike loves Sikhism.
I love all people.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike.
Shove your granny while she's shaving.
And I may be in a big Sikh film that's going to be shot later this year.
What's it called?
I don't know. Kay's dealing with it.
Oh really? I'll ask her actually then. I'll ask her. So, but
We've
you,
got a meeting on the 21st.
if they ever do a film about Alan Sugar, you could be the man to play it.
Oh yeah.
Because you're grumpy,
Get out.
you're rude.
I am rude. and
Yeah,
grumpy.
you are rude and
I'm
grumpy.
not.
Are you ugly?
Oh God, yeah.
Can we say you're ugly?
Yes.
Yeah, you are ugly.
I am.
Just like Alan Sugar is.
Every time I look in the mirror, it breaks.
Right, okay. We shall see you next week with Rebecca Burge doing the show, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Take care. God bless and goodbye.
Bye-bye. I go now.
Officer stopping a burglary.
We're going on now.
Yeah, you can talk now. We're off there.
Start.
We can talk.